brutes, beasts, boogeymen. These frightening fiends and more stand between us and our ultimate goal, the Jewel of the West, a stalwart spire that stands splendidly in the distance, beckoning us towards its magnificent facade. That's right, I'm talking about the New Vegas Strip, a veritable oasis from the gloom and doom of the Mojave Desert, a place where man, woman, and ghoul can waste their hard-earned caps on the dumbest games you can possibly imagine. It's a long journey, maybe even impossible without a little help, but that's exactly what we'll be looking for today. The road to New Vegas is harrowing, but there are a handful of saintly proprietors who will shelter us from the dangers and doldrums of the Mojave. So come with me, again, as we scrap our way through the desert and investigate this lingering mystery. What are the best bars in Fallout New Vegas? All right, so our first stop today is in a little town called Sloan. Sloan is a little shanty town built outside of a quarry where people are extracting stone and materials used for masonry projects. Over here, we got the worker barracks. Not what we're here for. We've got the mining office. Again, not looking for a job. Got the machine shop. Not even allowed to go in there. Guess you got to be, you got to be working for the boss man in order to get any info on that. And over here, we've got the town mascot, Snuffles, who is a friendly mole rat with a busted up leg. I'm not able to help him out in that respect, but I'm wishing Snuffles all the best in his future endeavors. Good luck with that leg, buddy. But here's what we came here to see today. The Sloan Mess Hall. It's a ramshackle little spot. All the sheet metal and rotted wood. I would expect it's kind of drafty in here. Not the most stable establishment I've ever seen. It kind of looks like the type of house one of the three little pigs would live in before it inevitably got blown down by the big bad wolf, and they'd have to relocate to one of the other brothers who has a more solid foundation to their house. Anyways, I'm pretty impressed by this menu. It has a lot more items on it than I was expecting. You know, you've got obviously the whiskey, the wine, you got the Brahmin steak, but then you also have like the maize, the barrel cactus fruit, you know, things with a little bit of fiber. So you're not going to get all, blocked up when you're working out in the quarry. So that's important. They're really thinking about their workers here. I can appreciate that. I think it's pretty cool. They still got these pre-war adverts. I'm not exactly sure what you would derive from them 200 years in the future. But I suppose it's kind of like, if you were to read Jerry Thomas's Bartender Guide or something like that, you get a little glimpse of what things used to be like. And I think that gives this place a lot of character. Got a nice Sunset Sarsaparilla vending machine. Let's check out the back room here. Just a lot of miscellaneous stuff. Some plates, pots, pans. We got some strange meat pies, which don't seem to be on the menu. I don't know if you got to be a part of the union to get some of that. Got the oven, refrigerator. No sink, by the way. Viewers of the last video would know that is a bit of a sticking point for me. But hey, what can you expect? You don't get to have it all out here in the wasteland. But I do like the feel of this place. It's kind of cozy. You got the coffee machine ready to go. You can sit here, enjoy a nice Brahmin steak, maybe read the newspaper, whatever they got in here. Talk to the nice lady at the front. Maybe get yourself a Deathclaw omelet. If I had a nitpick here, I would say that there's some clutter, some plates and some bottles kind of scattered about on the floor, and it's a little small, a little bit cramped. But this isn't the Ultra Lux, so I'm not expecting to be sitting in the lap of luxury here. So yeah, that was the Sloan Mess Hall. Not much to look at, but in a utilitarian sense, the mess hall provides everything you would need and a little bit extra. Despite its dilapidated and disorderly structure, the humble additions are what make this stop worthwhile. Hot coffee, large menu with specialty items, and a friendly proprietor all make this place much more preferable to getting attacked by a deathclaw in the middle of the night. Try the deathclaw omelet. I'm going to have to give the Sloan Mess Hall a 7.5. So next on our list is going to be the old Slop and Stop on the overpass at Route 188. Very close to one of my personal favorite places, the Bighorn Saloon. And so hopefully we'll get there and we'll maybe catch the sunset and have ourselves an ice cold beer. Doesn't that sound nice? I think so. So the Route 188 overpass trading post, aka the Slop and Stop. Let's go there now. Wowee, folks, what a hike. My dogs are barking. But we made it, and we're here at the Route 188 trading post, aka the Slop and Stop. We can see we're wading into NCR territory here. That cool bear flag. And we got a nice little makeshift little bar that our guys seem to have cobbled together with a couple of boards. The kind of thing that you would find in your buddy's backyard. Next to a plastic cooler filled with beers. So we're excited about that. I'm loving this bar. It's looking like we had about 3 or 4 people doing shots over here. Whoa, how do you get inside the bar like that? Looks like we got a magician tending bar over here. We got a regular Val Valentino on our hands. I would ask you how you did it, but I guess that would be breaking the magician's code. So I'll help myself to a sunset sarsaparilla and maybe a cold beer. So yeah, we got a pretty typical spread here. I'm not expecting much considering it's a little shack out in the middle of nowhere. But you got your beer, you got your vodka, some scotch, got some sunset sass. I like this little dining area. If you had a large group, you might have a problem. You're not going to be, having your birthday party over here. This is a 3-4 person spot maximum. But if you had like a guy playing the banjo or like buck dancing or something like that, I feel like that'd be a pretty good vibe. I think I could get behind that. Because this is the NCR tent where the soldiers would stay. There does not seem to be any, which I'm kind of fine with. We've got some other sort of sleeping situation over here. Got an arms merchant. I guess if you're a traveling merchant, you can stay here for free or something. I did not see how to rent a room, so I don't think that's available to the likes of me. Hey, it's the forecaster. He seems to be sleeping. I'm going to leave him alone. Let's pop a squat over on this stool over here. Get a good sense of the vibe. See what it's like to kick back in a place like this.
Like our slogan says, it's better than nothing.
And you know, I feel like that's sort of my threshold. If it's better than nothing, then I'll take it. So we got actually a good selection of goods here, considering the location. We got some food, some plenty of drink, and we've got Fixer. You know, in case you get addicted to, you know, what have you on the road. But I'm just gonna get myself a 6-pack, and I guess a little bit of water. You know, it's important to stay hydrated, even when you're throwing a couple back. I feel like the Fixer, that's an impressive menu item to have there. You really don't see that on the Las Vegas Strip. Their whole business is getting you addicted to the vices. These guys are going to cut you a break. You know, if you're unfortunate enough to catch one of these addictions out here in the wastes. So yeah, this is a really cozy spot. The sun has already set, but I figure that this would be a nice place to watch the sunset, while you know, having a drink of your choice. I think that you know, the main downside that I'm thinking of is you know, say like you get a pack of fire geckos or giant ants rolling up on you. I don't know what. You'd have no choice but to fight them. You know, there's no walls to insulate you from the attacks of the beasts of the wastes, and so you know that's going to be a problem that you're going to have to put up with in a venue like this. Luckily, I've come equipped, but you know, for your average wastelander, I'm not sure if that's that might be a deterrent for you. All things considered. You'd probably want to go to a place that has like walls and security, and you know, at least a guy with a baseball bat, like the Bighorn Saloon. So yeah, that was the Route 188 trading post, aka the Slop and Stop. As Samuel said, it's better than nothing. It doesn't really seem much of a watering hole, but more like a pit stop for traders and people traveling to the New Vegas Strip. But with that in mind, the Slop and Stop has a pretty generous assortment of goods, decent selection of liquor, plenty of food, and Fixer. Unfortunately, there are no beds available for rent, not to mention the lack of shelter from geckos and giant ants. But it's a fine enough place to rest your feet and watch the sunset with a beer on your way to the New Vegas Strip. So I'm going to have to give the Route 188 trading post, a.k.a. the Slop and Stop, a 7.8. So next on the list is the old Grub and Gulp. It's another outdoor rest stop on the way to the Las Vegas Strip. So along my route to the Grub and Gulp, I saw plenty of interesting billboards that were advertising a variety of different businesses that you would find in Freeside and the Las Vegas Strip. So we're going to check at least one of those out. Seems pretty interesting. And I ran into some NCR Rangers who seem to have a problem with me. Can't completely think of the reason. But they did say that I had 3 days to improve my relationship with them, and you know, what do they know, right? I do what I want. We got other things on the priority list than improving my relationship with the NCR, so we'll see how that goes. But anywho, next up is the old Grub and Gulp. So you know, let's Grub and Gulp. Let's go there now. Oh, we're already there now. Well, tickle me pink.
Hello?
Do they say that in Nevada or anywhere? Anyways.
Just a little rest
All right, so here's the Grub and Gulp, another addition into the noun verb named establishments out here in the wasteland. They both seem to be exclusively outside, and they both seem to be kind of transitory pit stops. They're not really places where you're expected to stay a while or come back specifically for the service. It's more of a convenience-oriented rest stop. Kind of like when you go to one of those like mini malls on the highway that has a convenience store and a Popeye's chicken and a Starbucks and just a big old parking lot in the middle of the interstate. That's the Grub and Gulp. You know, you go there for some grub and some drink to gulp on, and then you get on back on the highway. You got better things to do out here. So I like this neat little lunch counter. This is it's a unique little object you don't really see. Oh, we got a Brahmin on a cot. You can't sleep there, but it looks like these beds are free. You can just no charge. You can just take a nap out here, which is probably convenient if you just lost all your money at the slot machine or the blackjack table or the roulette wheel. So that's forgiving, but probably not your first choice. Yeah, and the dining area, not that impressive. Just a couple picnic tables around a fire barrel, so that'll keep you warm. But it's not the most comfortable decor that you're gonna find out here in the wasteland. If you got nothing else, it's probably enough. Got plenty of Brahmin, so they're gonna have a steady supply of meat here. It does not seem like they sell alcohol here, so that's going to be affecting the overall score for sure. Unfortunately, the no alcohol is going to be a problem. This is a bar review channel, and
Welcome back.
no alcohol. That's you're gonna have to docket some points. I appreciate that they do have options for water. The irradiated water, however, seems a little bit dubious. It doesn't seem like something you should be charging people for. And it's also suffering from the same issue that the Slop and Stop suffered from, which is that there's no walls protecting you from whatever the heck. If let's say a death claw just gets lost and it just rolls on up to the Grub and Gulp, that's it. That's a wrap for everybody. Well, these Brahmin are not going to save you. You might get lucky, and they'll slow the death claw down while you run away. But that's best case scenario. I'm a sucker for an outdoor rest stop. I love a good panoramic vista. Something you can really sink your eyeballs into. I love staring out into the scenery and taking it all in. So any place that provides me that is definitely going to get a positive check in my book. So that was the Grub and Gulp. Not much of a bar at all, really. There are no alcohol options here, so it functions as the last pit stop for traders before you get shook down by every grifter you meet in Freeside. I like the neat little lunch counter, and there seems to be an ample variety of smoked meats, so that's nice. The free outdoor sleeping arrangements seem to accommodate those who lost all their caps on the strip. But still, the sale of irradiated water seems a little sketchy, not the best business model, and the underwhelming hospitality make it a place where you don't want to stay unless you absolutely have to. So I'm going to give the Grub and Gulp a 5.6. Now we have almost completed our journey to the Las Vegas Strip, but before we get there, we got to make a quick little stop in Freeside, because we would be remiss if we didn't stop by the Atomic Wrangler. The Atomic Wrangler is the free or the it's the free it's the casino that you don't have to have a lot of money to get into. Since we're a little strapped for cash, we're gonna have to stop on by the Atomic Wrangler, and if we don't win it big, we're gonna have to figure out a way to get into the strip anyways. But before we do that, we gotta make a little stop in Freeside at the Atomic Wrangler. So, yep, the Atomic Wrangler. Let's go there now. So here we are. We made it to the Atomic Wrangler. Look at that sign. He's got a little guy riding a subatomic particle like that scene in Doctor Strangelove. Love it. Let's see what's going on inside. Okay, we got a nice big space here, a very inviting stage. We got some entertainment. Love to see that. We got a guard with a neck beard. Okay. Pretty dark, a little dank, a little musty. But I'm not one to complain too much. A lot of wallpaper peeling off of the walls here. How's it going? We got some loose booze bottles and cartons of cigarettes kind of strewn about on the dresser over there in the shelf. And we got some slot machines right at the bar. It's a very, very Vegas feel. Or like off Vegas. If you go to like the Sugar House in Philadelphia, they're going to have that going on a lot. I know Philadelphia is nowhere near Vegas. I'm just saying it's a non-Vegas affiliated casino. You shouldn't expect the best, but it's still a casino. All right, so yeah, again, it's a little dreary in here. I mean, to be honest, it's the first time we've seen actual casino games in the wasteland, so I really can't complain that much. But it really wouldn't kill them to put a couple more lights in here. Maybe get some of these sconces, replace the light bulbs in these sconces here. That would definitely bring a little bit of life to this game room. There's the ladies' room. We'll see if we can find the men's room over here somewhere. Here we go. And more broken glass. Shout out to the Prospector Saloon. You make it all the way to Freeside in the Las Vegas Strip. They still got, broken mirror. What is a bathtub doing in the bathroom stall? This is supposed to be a handicap stall. This is like, supposed to be accessible to our disabled gambling friends. No more. No, then that's the only one with the bathtub. Well, I guess if you need to take a bath in the wasteland, come to the Atomic Wrangler. They'll hook you up. Nice functional sink, no rads, not getting radiation from drinking from the sink here. I know it sounds ridiculous in our day and age, but 200 years in the future, post-apocalyptic wasteland, who knows? If the sink ain't giving you rads, then that's good enough for me. It seems the painting has been torn out of the frame here. I don't really understand the purpose of that. And if you look closely, you'll see that it seems to be the same painting at the edges, sort of running into the same problem that at the Red Dragon in Vampires: The Masquerade Bloodlines. Go check that video out if you don't know what I'm talking about. So here we got the rooms for rent. Again, just not enough light in these rooms. I'm telling you. If you have cataracts or something, some vision problems, you're not going to have a good time here. But at the very least, they give you a lot of space. You got the double bed. I'm sure you could. I'm sure this is a smoking room. They're not gonna charge you extra for smoking up the place. I'm sure. Yep, just exactly what you would expect from based on all the other rooms. This is a nice little bird's eye view of the space here. I like the room. Like, the space is nice, but they just are not taking care of the bones of this place. Kind of like the Vicky and Vance casino. It really is suffering from just a lack of cleanliness and upkeep here. Seems to be the main office. That one's locked to the public. I'm sure they got sketchy documents or whatever they got up here. These guys don't seem like the squeaky cleanest of proprietors that I've met out in my journeys across the waste.
Something you need, kid?
Look at these guys. They got some mean mugs. That's a mug full of mean if I've ever seen one. Wonder what their problem is.
I might give you a few less.
I feel like that's a running theme in this in this establishment. You really gotta put a mean face on, or someone's gonna shake you down, and you're gonna come out of here capless. That's for sure. Hey, we got ourselves a ghoul insult comic. That's fun. See, that's a creative gig to have out here. I respect the creatives out in the wasteland. I'm not gonna nitpick and backseat all of their artistic endeavors or what have you. I just gotta tip my hat to Hadrian over here. Keep it up, buddy. Look at that poor plant in the back. They are not taking care of that thing. Yeah, I like the chandeliers up on the ceiling. God forbid you got to change one of those light bulbs. You're gonna need a extra high ladder, or the guy with the longest arms you've ever seen. But let's take a squat at the bar and see what they have on the menu here. Might be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so we got a lot of drink options here. We got the beer, scotch, vodka, whiskey, wine, Nuka-Cola, and of course Sunset Sass. We're in the Mojave here. You're gonna have a little bit of that. No food options, not a big deal. They want you to be forking over the caps here, and I can understand that from a business perspective. It would be nice if I could get at least like a strange meat pie or something, but beggars can't be choosers. I think I'm gonna have a couple of beers and maybe make my way out of here. I don't trust these guys as far as I can throw them. All right, let's get out of here. That was the Atomic Wrangler. So this place is kind of an enigma. It has all of the features and accommodations of a nice place, but it doesn't really feel nice. The floors and rooms are filthy. There's trash scattered all over the place, and the employees are generally very hostile. It's like they knew that you wouldn't be here if you could pass the credit check, so fork over your money or get the heck out of here. That being said, I have to acknowledge the fact that there's a fair amount more to do here than many of the other places in the wasteland. They got a stacked bar, cartons of cigarettes, live entertainment, functioning casino. This place has a lot to offer, just don't expect a warm welcome or good customer service. I'm going to have to give the Atomic Wrangler an 8.4. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave suggestions in the comments. Special shout out to everyone who made it this far. I appreciate all of you. Hope you all have a great day. Drink responsibly, and I'll see you all in the next one. Yeah. Trying to get my head right.
money up, tryna get bread right, tryna get my head right, tryna get my head right, tryna get my money up, tryna get this bread right, right. Ex-girl had me on some rara, damn, I ain't even like that. Late nights, hitting on my phone.